Hello my dear students, today we are going to do all the important question answers from the chapter Browning version, which is written by Terence Rattigan. So this video is going to be helpful for you all during the examination and to clear the concept of the text as well. So let's begin with question number 1. Question number 1. Comment on the attitude shown by Taplow towards Crocker Harris. Let's see the answer. Taplow has a strange attitude towards Crocker Harris. Here Taplow is the student of Crocker Harris. Okay, Crocker Harris teaches Greek literature. He does not like Harris, calling him for extra work on the last day of the school and not revealing the result until the last day. Here Taplow does not like Crocker Harris because of his strict nature. He had called him to complete his one punishment work on last day, and not only that, he did not tell the result to Taplow unless and until he completes his work. Therefore, he shows strange attitude. But even then, he likes and respects him because of the dedication that Crocker Harris shown towards school and his students. He respects him and he does not hate. Therefore, we find mixed nature, mixed character, mixed attitude of Taplow here. Question number 2. Give a character sketch of Frank. Frank is a young teacher who teaches science at the school where Taplow is a student. He is another teacher in that very school. First is Crocker Harris and second is Frank. Though he is young, he is not enthusiastic regarding his career as a teacher. He is young, but there is no energy, there is no motivation which he should have imparted to the students. When Taplow shows his interest in opting for science, he sadly remarks, "We get all the slackers." Slackers means lazy person. Okay, so according to Frank, all the lazy people are there in science. Instead of motivating them to take his subject, he is demotivating them. Therefore, he is not a good teacher. Frank is an envious teacher. He himself admits that he envies Mr. Crocker Harris as a teacher. He draws pleasure when Taplow imitates Crocker Harris. So being a teacher, he should ask his students to be away from jealousy and other evils, but he himself is trapped in this sin. Crocker Harris, even though he is a strict teacher, students loves him like Taplow. Therefore, he is envious of him. And he says Taplow should imitate Crocker Harris again. So this is another drawback of Frank, who enjoys mimicry of Crocker Harris by Taplow. He pretends to be what he is not. He is not sincere towards his profession and even towards the students. I told you that he was a science teacher, so he should have called students to take science. He should have encouraged them, but he fails to do that. He can be called a foil to Mr. Crocker Harris. We get the information about the idealism and impartiality of Mr. Harris, but nothing about Frank's principles. Here, Mr. Crocker Harris is an ideal teacher, but the school fails to understand, the school fails to recognize his caliber, whereas Frank, who does not have any principle as a teacher, is valued. Therefore, he is a foil. Next question. What do you think of Taplow? Taplow is a boy of 17 years. He is in the lower 5th grade, wants his result and is anxious to opt science instead of classics. Taplow, as a student, does not like classic which was taught by Mr. Crocker Harris. He was dedicated towards his subject, but still he could not attract students. Therefore, he is interested in science. He does not like classics and the way his teacher Crocker Harris teaches them. He teaches in a very strict manner because Because of that only, Taplow was there on the last day to complete his task. It means he was very strict and hard taskmaster. Like many other students, Taplow misjudges Mr. Crocker Harris. He calls him inhuman. Here, Crocker Harris is not happy nor sad as well. He does not love anyone, he does not hate as well. That is why Taplow misjudges him and he calls him as an inhuman. He says that he is totally emotionless and a dried up nut. He is emotionless because of his personal tragedy. What was that? We have already discussed in the story that his wife was having an affair with Frank. Taplow soon realizes his mistake and asks for apology from the teacher. He is going far away. He is crossing the limit when he talks about Mr. Crocker Harris. He is an obedient student, that is why he was there on the last day to complete his work. He comes to Crocker Harris for extra work, though he does not like it. When Frank says that they all get all the idlers to study science, he objects, saying that he has opted for science because he is genuinely interested in science. So here Frank is not an ideal teacher because Taplow was interested, but he could not get him because of his personality and his dedication. He is bold and sincere, though he dislikes some of the habits of his teacher, that is Crocker Harris. He confesses that he still likes him, though he himself does not know why. Here Taplow talks all ill about Mr. Crocker Harris, but finally he says that students like him praises Mr. Crocker Harris. They love him, which envies Frank more. Does Frank seem to encourage Taplow's comment on Crocker Harris? Let's see the answer. Frank is a school teacher. Like many of his colleagues, he too does not seem to like Crocker Harris. Here are the teachers who hates Crocker Harris for his dedication, because in an institution there will be comparison, of course. Okay, when Crocker Harris is maintaining everything and he is accomplishing his responsibilities, then obviously teachers like Frank is going to be envious. For that, other colleagues along with Frank hated Mr. Crocker Harris. When he realizes the bitterness of a student Taplow for Crocker Harris, his discipline teacher, he encourages him indirectly to give vent to his feelings. Taplow misjudges Mr. Crocker Harris and talks ill about him in front of Frank, which Frank enjoys a lot, and he promotes that. He encourages Taplow to talk more ill about Crocker Harris and do the mimicry. He pretends to console him by saying that he is a good boy who has come to do extra work. He feels happy inwardly when the boy expresses his dislike of Crocker Harris, and his giving him extra work on the last day of the term. Here, Mr. Frank encourages Taplow to hate more Crocker Harris because he had been called on the last day of the school because he had missed one class of Mr. Crocker Harris. So Frank is not a good teacher at all. He calls his teacher inhuman because he does not have any emotion at all. Frank pretends to feel unhappy but asks him to repeat what Mr. Crocker Harris had said to him. Taplow imitates him. Frank pretends to dislike it and asks him to be quiet. When Taplow was talking all the rubbish things about Mr. Crocker Harris, Frank enjoyed a lot. Just for the pretense, he said that he is going too far. Frank encourages Taplow to disobey his teacher by suggesting that he is late, as he should go off and play golf. Taplow, who had come for completing his work, he was encouraged by Mr. Frank to go out and play, whereas Taplow could not dare to do that because of his strict teacher. Taplow, however, does not like this suggestion. He is too scared to defy his teacher's wishes. That is, his teacher is Mr. Crocker Harris, who never used to spare any student if they bunked the class or they avoid doing their work. When Taplow says that Crocker Harris was worse than a sadist, he says that his teacher is inhuman, a feelingless person. And we know why Crocker Harris is a feelingless person. It is because Frank, who was teacher out there, who was colleague of Crocker Harris, had an affair with his wife Millie. Therefore, he had become emotionless. Students could not understand him even after doing his hard work and dedication, and his colleagues betrayed him and his wife as well. So he has become emotionless. Frank tries to instigate him with his remark, "And I do not know." And boy, who does not use that for his own purpose? It becomes obvious that he encourages the boy to speak against Crocker Harris. Comment on the attitude shown by Taplow towards Crocker Harris. This is very important question because entire chapter is based on Crocker Harris' nature. Taplow has bitter feelings for his teacher Crocker Harris. Like other students, he does not like his strictness in the class and minute observance of school rules. He is a student in the lower 5th grade. He wants to know about his remove result, but the teacher, unlike his other colleagues, does not declare the class result, which is to be announced by the headmaster on the last day of the term, according to the rules. Here, Crocker Harris is being hated by Taplow and other students. It is because he is very strict. Minutely, he follows rules and regulations of the school, and a student who is in his 5th grade who is waiting for the remove is not told he's removed, just like other teachers. Other teachers, they don't care about the rules. They reveal the result of the students. But Crocker Harris waited for the headmaster to declare it on the last day of the term, which was according to the rules of the school. Taplow is bitter because Crocker Harris has given him extra work to do as he missed a day of school the previous week because of his illness. So whether a person is ill or not, that does not matter to Crocker Harris. The work should be completed at any cost. He finds fault with the way he teaches the classics. Actually, Taplow was not interested in classics, and Crocker Harris wanted him to do all the works. That is why he hated him a lot. The classics like the Agamemnon have a lot of Greek words, and he punishes the student if they do not get them right. Taplow calls Crocker Harris inhuman. Here, indirectly, we get to see positive aspects of Crocker Harris. The classic like the Agamemnon have a lot of Greek words, and he punishes the student if they do not get them right. It shows the quality of Mr. Crocker Harris, who taught his subject dedicatedly, and students had to follow each and every instruction which is given by Crocker Harris. Taplow calls Mr. Harris inhuman. He says that his teacher is motionless and withered like a dried up nut. It was because of the betrayal that he received from all the people who surrounded him, his wife, his colleagues like Frank, etc. He also imitates his voice. Nevertheless, Taplow admits that, strangely, in spite of Crocker Harris' attitude, he still likes him. Taplow was not interested in classics, therefore he hated the teacher and the subject. It was not that Crocker Harris did not teach his subject well. Had there been somebody else who loved classics, would have praised Crocker Harris a lot. But here the situation was different. He adds that he knows that that is Crocker Harris, feels uncomfortable about people who like him. It is about the betrayal that he received from other teachers and his own wife. He does not believe in any of the relationships now because he is so much hurt by the students who complained against him to the headmaster and his friend who envies him. They have also not supported Crocker Harris and Millie. At this crisis period, being a wife, she should have supported Crocker Harris, but she fails to do that because she is in love with Frank. Therefore, Crocker Harris does not have any emotion. Next question. What do you gather about Crocker Harris from the play? Crocker Harris, who teaches Latin and classical literature at a British public school, is a very good teacher. He does not beat his students because he has another way of punishing them. Of course, he punishes them for mistakes in his own way. An example is by giving them extra work. Taplow, who misses a day of school because of illness, is called by him for extra work. He is a stickler for accuracy and discipline. He expects his students to study hard. So Crocker Harris was a dedicated, hard taskmaster, and whatever punishment he gave, that was for the benefit of the student itself. The classics have a lot of Greek words. He punishes the boys if they do not get them right. He is a strict follower of rules. It is his master who announces results on the last day of the term, and he is not going to announce it at any cost before the time. As such, he does not announce the result to his class students, while other teachers do so. Taplow does not like this habit in him. Here, as a student, he was very inquisitive to know his result, but his teacher, that is Crocker Harris, did not reveal it, whereas Taplow's other student knew what was their result. Therefore, this particular act of Mr. Crocker Harris irritated Taplow a lot. He feels bitter because he has not announced his result. Unfortunately, others, including his students, do not appreciate his qualities of strictness and discipline. Here, it is shown that without strictness, there won't be discipline, and that is true also. If we give liberty to students to do anything, then discipline cannot be prevailed. Therefore, Crocker Harris was right, but the students misjudged him. Taplow calls him inhuman and even worse than a sadist. A sadist is the person who is happy by giving pain to others, but Crocker Harris is not even that, because he does not want people to love him as well. Frank, a teacher at the same school, seems to enjoy the low opinion of the boy about Crocker Harris. When Taplow talks ill about him, Frank becomes very happy. But Crocker Harris was able to gain the heart of the students in his own way. What was funny about Crocker Harris telling a joke? Crocker Harris one day made one of the classical jokes, but nobody laughed because nobody understood. Taplow laughed only to please Crocker Harris. This also shows that Taplow was concerned about the reputation of Mr. Crocker Harris. Therefore, in order to avoid embarrassment by his teacher Crocker Harris, he laughed as if he knew the joke. Harris asked Taplow to explain the joke to other students. So here we get to see that Crocker Harris tried to make his students smile by cracking jokes, but that did not help. Next question. How does Millie, Crocker Harris' wife, send Taplow away? Millie asks Taplow if he is waiting for her husband. She tells Taplow that Mr. Crocker Harris is in the bursar's office. Bursar means clerk, okay? He might be late in coming home. So she suggests that Taplow should leave. But Taplow is hesitant and does not want to take a risk. But Millie gives him a prescription of a doctor and asks him to get the medicine. In this way, she sends Tableau away. Now, main motive of Millie was to call Frank and talk with him because Frank had an affair with Millie. Next short questions. Why doesn't Tableau call Crocker Harris a sadist? Tableau says that Crocker Harris is not even a sadist. Mr. Harris has not any feelings. Sadist means he becomes happy by giving pain to others, but here there is no that feeling as well. So he does not get any pleasure out of the pains of others. Hence, it will be wrong to call him a sadist, a person who had some feelings. He does not believe in giving pain to others, therefore, sadist cannot be the appropriate term for Mr. Crocker Harris. Next question. What is, according to Tableau, unnatural about Crocker Harris? Let's see the answer. According to Tableau, Mr. Crocker Harris is all shriveled up inside like a nut. He does not bear any of the emotions. His emotions are all dried just like a nut. He seems to hate people who like him. Here it is opposite. People feel happy when others like them, but here the case was totally opposite. It is natural for others to love and be loved, but it is opposite with Crocker Harris. Crocker Harris does not want to be loved or liked by anyone. What is funny about Tableau's attitude towards Crocker Harris? Tableau admits that despite many reasons of his not liking Crocker Harris, he rather likes him. He says he can't help liking him. So it is because of the dedication of Mr. Crocker Harris towards his profession. He can make comparison between Mr. Crocker Harris and other teachers. Crocker Harris never beat his students. His verbal command is enough for the students, whereas other teachers try to pour their grudges on the students by beating them. Next question. Frank says, bad luck. Still, there is one comfort. What is bad luck and what is the comfort? Here, Frank, who is science teacher in British public school, says that it is the bad luck of Tableau to come to extra work on the last day of the school, and that also it's in such a weather. But there is comfort for him that being a good boy, he will get his remove. Remove is nothing else than result. Okay. So here Tableau was considered having good luck because he is going to get removed because he has come for the extra work, according to Frank. Tableau calls Crocker Harris hardly human. Why? Tableau says that Mr. Crocker Harris does not have any feelings, and despite the fact that he has taken extra work from Mr. Harris, even then he would not give him more than he deserves. Therefore, Tableau calls him hardly human because coming to the school for extra work is not going to change the mind of Crocker Harris, because whatever Tableau has achieved or received by writing the answers, he will be awarded the same. This coming to the school for extra work is not going to please Mr. Crocker Harris. Next question. Did Frank like Tableau imitating Crocker Harris? Yes, Frank liked Tableau imitating Crocker Harris because he was jealous of Mr. Crocker Harris and he felt happy when Tableau did so. That is why he asked him to imitate his teacher again. He only pretended to show his dislike and snub Tableau for his imitation. He was the one to encourage, and finally he says that he is crossing the limit, but in the heart of his hearts, he was happy when Tableau imitated Crocker Harris. Why was Tableau shocked? Let's see the answer. Frank gave a suggestion to Tableau to cut Crocker Harris. Cut means to bunk, okay? Crocker Harris because Crocker Harris was late by 10 minutes. This suggestion shocked Tableau because he could never think of disobeying his teacher. Why does Frank envy Crocker Harris? Frank admits that he envies Crocker Harris for having an effect on the boys. Without beating, he is able to gain the heart of a student like Tableau. All the boys seem to be scared of him. He asks Tableau if Mr. Harris beats him. It is because all the students were scared of Mr. Crocker Harris, and Frank was thinking that by beating, he was able to tame his students. But that was not the case. Frank. What impression do you form about him? Frank is a science teacher. Frank does not know Tableau, who is in the lower 5th standard. Being a teacher, he should know each and every student. But here, it seems that Tableau was a newcomer in the school because Frank was not able to recognize him when he was doing his extra work. Even then, he tries to instigate Tableau against Crocker Harris. He is full of jealousy and prejudice. He does not seem to be objective and sincere. Being a teacher, there was no sincerity or objectivity in him because he hates his subject, and when somebody hates something, they don't do the research work on that particular thing. In the case of Crocker Harris, he knew everything and he taught students in a very judicious manner. Next question, what is remove? What does Tableau think about it? The certificate which one gets on passing a class in a school is known as remove. It is, as a rule, declared by the headmaster. Tableau is not sure of getting a remove as his teacher Crocker Harris is not in the habit of telling the result beforehand like other teachers. So here the student Tableau is going to get his remove on the last day only. That too will be declared by headmaster. Mr. Crocker Harris is not going to give him remove beforehand just because Tableau had come to complete his pending work. Why has Tableau come to see Crocker Harris? Tableau could not attend the school for a day last week. Crocker Harris has called Tableau to assign him some extra work. Next question is, does Tableau like Harris' subject? Tableau does not like Greek play taught by Crocker Harris. He is interested in science. Therefore, he did not like literature of any kind. That is why he calls the Greek play muck. Muck means useless thing, which means something useless and unwanted. For him it was unwanted, but had there been a student who likes literature, then they would have loved this particular book. But being a science enthusiast, Tableau hated the subject and the book as well. By this, we have completed all the important question answers from this chapter as well. So prepare well for your examination. If you require any help, you may call me at any point of time. Thank you everyone. All the best.